What is going on, guys? It is Hayden here bringing you another video all about lawn care. Today's an interesting one. I wanted to talk about the Honda lawn mowers, how well they last. So we're going to be looking at a mower that's 20 plus years old. So yeah, let's take a look on how it has aged. So this mower, guys, is a Honda. My dad had it when he started his lawn care business when I was born. Still works just as normal. So I use this one to mow my personal lawn. Pulls first time every time. Now I'm just going to run through bits and pieces on things that have worn with age, and we'll go through that a little bit. So the first thing that I want to talk about that has worn in recent times is this little height adjustment lever here. On the actual adjuster, it wore off, so it wasn't able to slot into these height adjustments positions. So we're obviously having to replace that. Other than that, guys, you know, just the regular the cables obviously stretch over time, so that could be replaced, but hasn't been. Pretty much everything on this mower is original, other than one gasket that broke when we were doing a carby clean. But with any pieces of equipment, it's extremely important to do regular maintenance services on it, such as oil change, air filter, and spark plugs. Now, of course, old mowers tend to go through spark plugs and things like that a lot quicker. This mower in particular has a it's probably leaking a bit of oil from the valves. Doesn't really affect it a whole lot, but of course, if you're wanting to start in the lawn mowing game, Honda lawn mowers are particularly reliable, especially even as they're old. So this one in particular, we've had to change the spark plug a lot more regularly than the Maz ports that we own, that we do all our lawns with now. And as well as that, you have to constantly be changing the air filters and the spark plugs, purely because if you don't, it'll start putting out black smoke and all that sort of stuff from incomplete combustion. Other than that, it's still a good mower after 20 years and running. This one in particular has been kept undercover, which is why the plastics haven't faded. The red's still quite a good red. I've got another one that we use for spares that is very worn, and that's because it was left out in the sun and not looked after. But it tends to be that, you know, when you look after a piece of equipment properly, they'll always look after you. Other than that, guys, the deck's still really good. You obviously get a bit of wearing alongside here. If we flip it up, we can still see that everything's relatively intact. There's no holes or anything like that. So Honda make a really good deck. But yeah, overall, really good mower. You just have to look after your equipment as with any equipment. These have actually rusted off, so these are aftermarket ones. And other than that, you get the grazes, you know, the paint, loss of paint and things like that. But above all, these Honda mowers are very good and have extremely good engines, which is why they have such a good reputation with contractors and homeowners. But guys, if you're really looking at buying a mower, you know, definitely give the old Honda mowers a go, especially if you're looking on Craigslist or Gumtree or anything like that, because they do still work a treat even at such an old age. They'll probably, you know, in some cases they'll last a lot longer even than brand new ones. One thing to note as well, if you do keep it outdoors, the paint, such as here, will chip off a lot quicker and will wear the deck a lot quicker. And this also fades if left out in the sun. So one thing to keep in mind if you're trying to keep your mowers in good condition. I'll give it a pull just so you can see how it starts. So if I set the camera up there. As you can see, starts first time every time, but suspected leaking of the valve sleeves. So nothing really much you can do about that unless you want to take it all apart, but it doesn't really affect the performance of the mower. Just a bit of smoke at the beginning of starting, but again, that only happens at the beginning, and then it burns off the oil. Then it's same, then it's used as normal. So why I don't use the Honda as much anymore in the contracting game is because this mower in particular is the one that I started off with, but it's turned out to be not powerful enough for what I need it to do. So the Honda in particular is a 140cc engine with not as much torque as the Mazports. The Mazport commercial edition that I've got is 190cc with pretty much the maximum amount of torque that you can get for a walk behind between that 19 and 21 inch range. A lot more power and torque than the Honda. So that's the main reason why I choose the Mazport over the Honda in my work. But of course the new Hondas are definitely good value for money as well. Thanks for watching the video today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up, and hope you have a good one. Thanks for watching. Catches.